We are going to have our session today on types of supply chain management, okay? And we are going to understand more about the pros and cons, limitations, problems in supply chain management. Because in the previous two sessions, we were discussing about it, and yes, there are questions came up on challenges, problems in the supply chain management. So we are going to have a look on those issues also in supply chain management. So let's continue our session. We have a quorum on board, and slowly it will be uplifting more. I'm sure that many of you have already subscribed my channel. It's beneficial. Use it as much as possible, okay? And if not subscribed, please do subscribe. And my mobile number is also there, so you can send me hi. I'll add you to my WhatsApp broadcasting, so whenever new videos are published, you will be notified. This presentation may contain information and materials drawn from various sources, including but not limited to online and offline publications, research studies, and other publicly available resources. The presenter, I, acknowledges and expresses appreciation for the contribution of these sources. This presentation is intended for educational and informational purpose and is not intended to constitute legal, financial, or other professional advices. Remember, we have seen this picture in the our first session, starting from raw material to supplier to factory, correct? Just a recap. And then distributor, retailer, customers, correct? So this is how the raw material becomes a finished good and reaches to the hands of a customer, correct? And that is where the supply chain management plays an important and vital role to fulfill the expectations and desires for ensuring that the right product reaches to the hands of customer in the whole cycle. Everybody is a customer to each other. Okay, supplier is a customer to raw material. Factory is a customer to supplier. Okay, distribution channels are the customer to the factory. Retailers are customer to distribution, and customer, final customer, which are we are customer to the retail marketing. So everybody has a buyer-seller relationship. Okay, so that is very clear. And in view of this, goods flows, cash flows happens, correct? So that's why this is called a supply chain, and integration and complexities are very important to address, and that's why this is how the supply chain management concept has evolved. And we have seen yesterday 5PL, 6PL concept also, which is very fresh for our discussion. Okay, so now some academics on supply chain. So there are different type of supply chain: linear supply chain, circular supply chain, agile supply chain. We are just going to have a quick look on that. Okay. What is a linear supply chain? Linear supply chain simply describes a straight path from raw material to production and finally to disposal. The straight line movement. The product reaches, raw material is processed, product is made, reaches the customer. Once the customer has completed its uses, it disposed of. Correct? Dispose of means dispose of. It is not coming back. It is not coming back to a situation where it can add a value to the system. The meaning is some type of plastics which cannot be recycled and they are disposed. That's why government has banned some type of plastics which cannot be recycled or reused, because they are creating a burden on the earth. They cannot be reused. They cannot be, they do not diminish by themselves. They take 30 years to dissolve on the earth, 40 years self-decay. So they are adding an extra load on the earth. Fertility of land, agriculture land, they are spoiling. That's why the linear supply chains are being disliked nowadays very much. Everybody, even one use is finished, they still want to reuse that product. Okay, no problems, we'll reuse it. Once one purpose is finished, we'll use it for another purpose, don't worry. We'll collect metal from it, don't worry. We'll recycle, we'll reuse, we'll refurbish. 5 hours, correct? So because of this disposal nature, this is not very cost effective. The product ends up being discarded at some point by the customer anyway. So when a new product comes out, the old one is discarded in a landfill. Their purpose is only landfill. Wherever any landfill is required, they will be used. The purpose is very simple, a limited life cycle, used, throw, that's all. No reuse of that disposed products. And because of that, it is being like it is not cost effective. Okay, we go next now. Circular supply chain. Okay, the traditional model of take, make and throw away from the previous one, take, make, throw away, is an economic dead end and is costing business as they struggle with raw material cost and volatility. I touched upon here 2 points. It cost a business a huge price because raw material cost and volatility of rates, availability. Got the point? What was used to make that product has gone for the landfill. Nothing is coming back to the business model. Nothing is coming back to business at all. So for making next product, you have to depend on everything fresh now. Getting my point? A model that encourages manufacturer and seller of product to take discarded material and remake them for resale. This is what they say. The manufacturer says, don't worry. When you feel you are tired of or sick of this product, give me back and buy the new one from me. I will take care of your old product. Give your old iPhone, I will give you a new iPhone. I will refurbish and I will resell in the market. Aluminium windows. In the industry now we are started putting the specifications that whatever new windows you are giving to us, aluminium window, should have minimum 20%, 30% recycled aluminium. Recycled means it is collected from the scrap. When the customer was satisfied with that, you give me back, I will recycle this to my new product manufacturing. Our packaging material nowadays, you will see a label is coming on that we are using recycled material for this packaging material, which is reducing carbon footprint. So the efforts are on to recover anything even from the West. Or the approach is do not waste as much as possible. I think other day I gave an example about this, that the aluminium production on the earth will continue. This is estimated, all estimates, okay. The new aluminium will keep producing in addition to the recycle on what we have till 2050. But they say that by 2050 the demand curve will be so saturated that, and so much aluminum will be available on earth, so you can just survive with recycle. Getting my point? So you will not do an exploration or mining for aluminium. Of course, aluminium, what this is called, aluminum oxide, and from where you are going to get aluminium, correct? So this is called, we give example of iPhone, we give example of aluminium, we give example of packaging. All these are circular supply chain, which is fundamentally based on R, reuse, refurbish, recycle, and at the most, rot. What is rot? If you are not able to do anything, create the fertilizer out of it. Create something. Okay. This is a concept of circular supply chain, ensuring minimum wastage or approach of zero wastage. Okay, now we have one more supply chain type. Agile supply chain. It is focuses on, by the way, agile word we have studied in project management. Once our supply chain management finishes, we'll go to the project management sessions. But we have couple of sessions on supply chain still. So the agile supply chain, agile approach means quick, flexible, adaptable, and adopt. Okay. We are highly result oriented, focused oriented. Procedures are not given first priority. Product, services, results are given the priority. Customers are given priority. Agile approach in business management. So what is agile supply chain? Focuses on flexibility and receptiveness. Flexibility. We'll change our supply chain model, don't worry. If customer need this, we'll modify our supply chain model. Why we should worry? If customer need the product delivery night 2 o'clock, no problem. We'll simulate our supply chain in such a way that we give a customer the delivery night 2 o'clock. Because customer is telling, sir, kindly give me this raw material 2 o'clock because at that time many of the workers are free, so I can arrange my products correctly in my warehouse. Okay. Customer needs it, na? Your manufacturer is your customer and your raw material supply. Give it to him. Be flexible. Receptiveness, receptive. No resistance. Follow the path of minimum resistance. It responds quickly to changes in demand, customer preferences and industry. See? Very important thing. Demand changes. Okay. No problems. Demand changes. Na? Demand can increase, demand can reduce. You should respond to that quickly. If demand is reducing, do not buy raw material more. Do not keep the raw material on the shelf. Reduce and make sure that your suppliers also vibrate at the same frequency of agile supply chain. Slowly with you. So you have that flexibility. You have that reputation with them. You have created that flexible adjustment. Not rigid, flexible. If you want to know an example of agile in real life, look at any time the train, which has 15, 20, 30, 35 bogies, correct? When the brake is put on, correct? All the bogies are loosely connected with each other, not rigidly. And because of that loose, flexible connection between them, not loose, flexible connection, sorry. Because of that flexible connection between the bogies, when the engine start putting the brake to stop the train, the train stops. One bogie does not hit another one. Otherwise, it could be a collision. If they have a rigid connection, if you are mechanical engineering, if there is a momentum, the momentum will be different in different bogies. So every momentum will play its role and they will hit each other. There will be a collision. But because they have a flexible bonding between them, they do not collide when there is a brake is put on. So this is how the agile things in the business management works. Flexibility of connection, flexibility of interpersonal relationship, flexibility of relationship between different departments and different organizations. It is made to handle unpredictability in the market through postponement, waiting to see what the market will dictate before finishing production. You take patience. You say no problems. Just wait for the market is uncertain. Let's market settle down. And we all agree in supply chain management. We all component raw material supplier, manufacturer, distributors. We all ready to take that adjustment together to adjust the forecast, stabilize the forecast, or stabilize that fluctuations. So there is a joint approach to meet the turbulences, frequent frictions. So that's why the agile supply chain helps a lot to meet these requirements. Got the point now? Okay. That was about the type of supply chain. Okay. Formation, operations and extinction. And this is supply chain life cycle. Each step is critical to the next step. Even extinction is critical to the next formation. So it's like a formation. You make a supply chain, start operation of that supply chain, and then extinction. Close out. That supply chain has completed its objective. So after this, again you start forming the new supply chain, operations, extinction. So this is a continuous process. So each step is critical to next step. Even extinction is critical to the next formation and the overall success for the supply chain and the overall continuity of the business. It's a continuous process. If a supply chain model for iPhone 15 is coming to an end, then the supply chain model for iPhone 16, if 15 is coming to end in 1 year duration, supply chain model for iPhone 16 has to come in existence. And we cannot say that both the supply chain models are same. They could be same up to greater extent, but still there will be a different scenarios. Because when you start flooding the market with iPhone 16, the demand curve, the customer likings may different than iPhone 15 curve. So you may have to change your production cycle accordingly. And at the same time, there is a possibility that you need more upgradation in that model. You have to immediately come with iPhone 16 Plus model, because iPhone 16 is not that attractive as iPhone 15 was. I'm just giving an examples, So in this time, last time you bought iPhone 15, you started iPhone 15 maybe after 1 month. But in this case, you may have to start iPhone 16 Plus immediately within 2 weeks time. So you should be ready for that. So every manufacturer, even though his repetitive job is to just produce another model of mobile, but every mobile has its own supply chain life cycle. So that is a point to take away from this. Okay, now we are talking of supply chain sustainability. And what is that? Social, environmental, and financial aspect in sustainability. Companies' efforts to consider the environmental and human impact of their products' journey through the supply chain from raw material sourcing to production, storage, delivery, and every transportation link in the between. What is sustainability? It is not only about sales number or how good you will be in your sales target. The product which you are manufacturing today is having an impact on environment, social life, and if it is good, your product will sustain in the market in the future also. A urea fertilizer made for high production rate, good thing, very good thing, but its a social and environmental impact is that it is leading to the cancer disease to the farmers at higher percentage. Is your product is sustainable? No, because it is having a negative impact, negative social impact, negative environmental impact. So the point here is what you do today in the supply chain, it has a long-term impact. So what you do today, you should plan it out that it should not have an adverse impact on society and environment. And of course, financial for sure. So that's why the supply chain sustainability also pass through social, environmental, and governance factors. And it must be validated for that purpose. And each stage of that, raw material storage, if the spillage happen, what will happen? Deliveries, if there are delivery leakages, what impact it will create on the environment? So that's the point actually. That's why supply chain management must be seen from the perspective of sustainability also. We are going to see now the supply chain challenges, what are the barriers in supply chain, and what are the problems in supply chain. Okay. What are the challenges are there in supply chain? If you look at the list, we have a big list actually. Cash flow. You know that the product flows from raw material to the customer, say north to south. But cash flow starts from south to north, customer to raw material, opposite direction. So the product and cash flows opposite to each other. If your customer need products in the market, you have to flood it. Otherwise, your competitor will take a place in place of you, so you cannot compromise on that. But probably the cash is not flowing that fast. So cash flow is a challenge because in different supply chain, you have different credit durations. The retailers may ask main distributor 1 month credit. Distributor may ask 3 months credit from the manufacturer. Manufacturer may ask 2 months credit from the raw material supplier. So it's a cycle. But somebody need a cash flow. They says, no, I need a cash. I need a cash liquidity. I cannot run the business like this. So that's why it is not only the product movement balances, the cash flow is also a big challenge in the supply chain, because everybody is striving for maximum credit limits. A general business tendency, human tendency. Give me product, give me today, I will give you cash after 3 months. You getting my point? So that's why the cash flow is a challenge, because different credit limits, different credit durations and all those things. Lead time and delays, yes. Lead time is from raw material to reaching to the product. And it has really a challenge. There's no no doubt about it. And what is the reason behind it? Say you manufacture the clothes in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. You start preparing the winter clothing. Winter clothing has to reach USA. Travel time is 30 days and or 25 days, 25 days. Okay, it has to reach on the shelf, winter clothings, by September. Correct? So the winter clothing shopping can start in October, and it should reach peak. It should hit peak in November, because after in the December they have to start the sales, because by that time I'm just giving an example. Okay. And if your product is delayed by 15 days because of the non-availability of cargo and everything, so the product is not reaching on the shelf to USA by the end of September, and it reaches by mid of October. And your competitor have, because in garment industry you have multiple competitors, we all know, and your competitor have flooded the market. So they got an advantage due to the optimized lead time, or respecting the lead time. They got the better market sales for 2 weeks ahead of you. So that's why the lead time is a challenge. Availability of cargo, availability of raw material. So it required a mammoth of coordination, correct? That's why it's a challenge. It does not mean that you fail every time. No, you meet the schedules. But yes, there is a delay. The delay happens because there are reasons behind it. Data management and exposure to risk. Huge data management. Terabytes, we are talking of big data. 10 raised to power 15. And that's why, and there is the exposure of your data is also a risk. Accountability and compliances. See, accountability is a challenge because the stakeholders are very high, huge in numbers. And second thing is compliances, whether it is a statutory compliances, traffic violations, okay, storage compliances, different countries, different states rules. So always, because it's a multiplex, you are floating in the multiplex environment, multi-complex environment. Every floor and every room has a different rule, because you are working in the different business environment. Quality controls and defect is, yes, there is a challenge always. This is because what they say is that whatever you manufacture too good in your manufacturing premises, but if the same product is not reached in toto in the hands of customer, it got damaged physically, or it got damaged by the property because of not giving the proper ambience condition, storage conditions, then quality control and defects will lead to it. Not meeting the standards of specific country. Language barriers, time zones, yes, we know that because there is a 11 to 12 hours gap is there between the US and this part of the world. So, and language barriers are there, different languages are being used, and then this is a known phenomena. Like exchange rate and foreign transaction cost, yes, that is very important. Exchange rates, fluctuating exchange rates is a challenge. Okay, what we planned at that time, $1 was 80 rupees, but now it became 87 rupees, correct? And our deal is now, our contract is for 2 years, and it's a fixed rate contract. $1 is equal to 80 rupees. What to do? Means I'm just giving an example, okay? The point here is because it impacts your revenues. It impacts your revenues, top line and bottom line both. Labor shortage, equipment availability, and the ripple effect of global bottlenecks. Yes. Labor shortage is known. Equipment availability is also known. Whether it is a storage equipments or logistic equipment supplies, anything. So it create a challenge, correct? And a ripple effect of global bottlenecks, correct? So one area impacted, another area get impacted because of that. Your cargo is going from country A to B, but it has a halt between country C, and the country C ports are seized right now or closed for next 2 weeks time. You are stuck in port C. So these are the challenges happening, and huge e-commerce growth. Huge e-commerce is growing very fast, rapidly. So everybody has to cope up. Growth of e-commerce is not a challenge, but to cope up with that e-commerce by every stakeholder of the supply chain is a challenge. Sudden shortage, sudden flooding of raw material, centralized inventory, how to maintain centralized inventory, and limited or insufficient visibility, and patchwork logistics from here to here, then here to here. Probably now you will, once I have read these challenges, you must be realizing now that what we read yesterday, that 3PL, third party logistics, fourth party logistics, fifth party logistics, why that logistic concept will be very popular in the time to come. Because there is a mammoth of work to be done in the supply chain. So you need a support, and you may be expert in only manufacturing, or you are a very good raw material producer. How you can handle other things? So that's why the birth of third party logistics, fourth party logistics, fifth party logistics is triggered by these fundamental challenges existing in supply chain fabric. So those are the solution to these challenges. So we discussed solutions yesterday, and we are looking, those solutions are required for what? So they are required to mitigate this kind of challenges. Challenges, problem. What is the problem? Material scarcity, raw material scarcity. Suddenly your crop got bad, and you have the cotton availability almost negligible in the region. So you have to import it because you are a garment manufacturer. Correct? Increasing freight prices is a problem. Okay. Difficult demand forecasting is a problem. That's why 4PL and 5PL we are addressing demand forecasting. Port congestion. See, the port congestion is a problem. But if there are experts available who can only deal with port issues, and they are available in your fourth party and fifth party logistic configuration, or even in third party logistic configuration, who are only meant for this, so they can suggest you best options for port congestion. Sir, route your consignment through this port this time, not through this port, because in this particular month it has a high degree of utilization, so the congestion happens. Changing consumer attitude, yes, it is a problem, there is no doubt about it, and it will be there till the time humans are existing. consumers are existing, their attitude cannot be fixed. Okay, and sometimes we are also responsible to trigger different options to the consumer so that we can produce different type of products. We give a variety, so consumer attitude will keep changing. Digital transformation is not a problem. Digital transformation itself is not a problem, but the digital transformation growth rate what is there right now, one component of supply chain is growing, another component is not growing, so adaptability, patchwork is very problematic right now. Restructuring and inflation we all know. Okay, inflation varies from country to country, so inflation is very high, so the product what you sold last year at $40, even the buyers are not ready to buy at $30 because inflation is very high in that country. What to do? And restructuring, companies are restructuring themselves, so that's why individual restructuring when happens in individual component of supply chain, so you have to cope up with that model. Okay, supplier says, sir, we are doing restructuring now, so from this supply houses will provide you only 3 products, other 3 businesses we have shifted to some other location. I'm just giving an example, very very simple example, so you can understand that. So when you look at this and the barriers, okay, we studied challenges, we studied problems, and now we are looking for barriers. Who is stopping your supply chain? Who is creating an hindrance in your supply chain? What are the natural barriers of your supply chain? Please go ahead with your evaluation. Okay, so what is there in barriers now? Insufficient knowledge of other function. That is what we discussed since last 2 sessions. That is what we are discussing. You are an agriculturist, you are a farmist, your job is to produce wheat. You have a farmhouse, your job is to produce eggs. Correct? You are a manufacturer, your job is to produce the car. How do you know about the other logistic components and transport components, warehousing concepts? So it is an inherent problem, inherent barrier in the supply chain. Everyone is good in their function, but you cannot be that common saying is there, na? Bachelor of all, master of none. What is that? Something like that, correct? So you are master in one field, but you cannot be master in every field, because first of all you do not have an experience of doing that thing day in day out. You are forced to do that. In India, almost 20 to 30% of wheat and rice get wasted after post harvest, because that first mile delivery from the farms is on the shoulder of the agriculture farmers, which is not their forte at all. Warehousing is an issue, okay, logistics is an issue, storage is an issue, marketplace is an issue. Of course, there are many reforms are happening, there is no doubt to address all these things. But what I am trying to make a point here, if I am an agriculturist, I have a big land or I have a small land of piece, I produce wheat and rice, let somebody come and pick up and go, kalas, pay me the money, transfer the money to my account. But no, I am taking my product to mandi, local mandis, I am taking the product to the MSPs, and I am the first mile, so I am a transporter also. Same supply chain 1, yesterday we saw. And what was the limitation of that supply chain 1? 1PL, first party logistics, correct? And how we evaporated slowly those problems in the 2PL, 3PL, 4PL. So that's why this 3, 4, 5 is helping out this. You have insufficient knowledge, relax, we'll provide you. Lack of communications, yes. Poor working relationship. Everybody is focused in their business, correct? They don't have a time to talk to each other, correct? Somebody has to talk with each other on behalf of each other, correct? But that's a fact. Conflicting goals. Raw material will say, I'll produce raw material, yaar. Okay, you buy or you don't buy, because this my, if you don't take, I will give to somebody else. And if they commit to somebody else, and if your demand increases and you demand more raw material, then he will say, sir, thank you. We committed for this season with you only at 20 tons per day. Okay, and I am producing 50 tons, but because our agreement is 20 ton this time, last time we had 30 ton, but this time we because of your forecast and everything, you committed with me 20. So I already committed my 30 tons to other product, other company or other supplier or other manufacturer. So goals become conflicting. Lack of direction from senior management, because that's why the supply chain management has been opened as a control center, supply chain control center concept, where all the information comes and it is circulated to all the stakeholders who are supposed to get that information in real time mode. Okay, we will, after this slide, we'll conclude our session. We will go for the interaction. Strategy to improve supply chain. So you will reply me to, sir, no problem. We will implement 3PL, 4PL, 5PL and we improve supply chain. Okay. But what will be focused there? Optimize company owned inventory. Very good. Optimize company owned inventory. Why you want to increase your inventory? Because inventory on shelf is equivalent to money on shelf, correct? So do not improve, please. Do not increase it. Optimize it. So you require minimum warehouse locations. You require minimum place in the warehouse. Improve distribution network. Okay. So hire the consultant. In 4PL, we hired a logistic consultant. He will say, sir, these are effective distribution network. Let's follow them. Make a supply chain council, SCC. That is what I said, supply chain control center. So make a supply chain council which is highly focused on implementing the supply chain components and monitoring and controlling the supply chain components, each component. Embrace the technology. We are going for 5PL and 6PL, correct? Build healthy supplier relationship. That is mandatory. Even if you put AI, okay, even if you put robotics, even if you put Internet of Things, even if you put big data, even if you put blockchain contracts, correct? But still human relationship has to be maintained. And that too, healthy relationship. And in business, healthy relationship is what? Balance always, optimize always the supply and demand relationship. Ensure cash flow. Hold your commitments. By the way, blockchain is used for automated contracting systems. It triggers the supply, it triggers the new supply when the stock is below inventory levels. Okay, below the threshold level, when it comes, so the blockchain is like a robotics working system working in automatic mode. But at the same time, building the healthy supply relationship will definitely propagate, and that is what the real-time information sharing with each other is a very critical phenomenon. Review procedures regularly. This is one of the very important things. Procedures become a fancy item in the company actually, and anywhere in the industry. When we make the procedure, we become very enthusiastic in writing the procedure. But when it comes to following on day-to-day basis or upgrading that procedure on day-to-day basis, we become sluggish. That's why supply chain says your procedures, of course, these procedures in AI module or these procedures in 4PL, 5PL environment, these procedures are automated procedures. They are written in the system. System takes care of your procedures. But at the same time, the procedures need to be upgraded. The point to take away is we need a procedure review, revision 0 to revision 1, revision 2, revision 3 migration on the regular interval basis. And then establish the green initiatives. Yesterday we could not able to take up the green logistics. We will take up, but don't worry, in coming sessions. But green initiatives are very important and essential component of sustainable supply chain. Social environmental impact is very important to address this, and almost 22%, or I will say roughly for your understanding, 25% of carbon dioxide emissions in the world is coming because of the only logistics or transportation in the world. And supply chain is one of the biggest consumer of transportation across the world. Whether it is air cargo is there, ships are there, trains are there, roads are there, correct? So that's why the green initiative, we are going to have the green supply chain in coming time. Electrical vehicle migrations, drone migrations, even in the city also. If there is a traffic congestion and if there are small goods, try to transport them by the drones. So you reduce the load, traffic congestion on the streets. Again, I tell you, next 25 years, you guys will see a drastic change in the world. The technology has, this AI has, touch wood, you should, like the way, fortunately, you have seen the COVID, and this pandemic has came after 100 years, correct? It came before in 1920, okay? So you saw after 100 years some pandemic, correct? But at the same time, don't worry, you saw the bad part has come and gone, class. But now, you are going to see an era where right now there is no AI in the market. Believe me, this ChatGPT will be obsolete in next 1 or 2 years time. The way AI is growing right now, you are going to see the wonderful miracles of AI. The only thing is that, but please take away this point, that as we talk of work-life balance or integration, similarly AI and human life integration, human creativity, I am talking again, human creativity integration is mandatory. I have a video on my YouTube channel in Hindi, but yes, it is talk some very sensitive thing, and I have my article on internet also available, and on the LinkedIn also, about human creativity and AI balance, which is very essentially required. Okay, otherwise after 10 years we should not have only robots in the market. Human creativity is the brainchild of AI. So human creativity must continue evolving, because of which we are here today. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir, how are you? This is Nandana.
Hi Nandana, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you sir. How are you?
I'm great Nandana. Please go ahead.
Thank you sir. Yeah, actually you were explaining about the problems in that you mentioned the port congestion. So can you explain me once again? I didn't understood that part.
Okay, port congestion is what actually that sometimes you go to you try to book a railway ticket, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you get a waiting list in the railway ticket, correct? And,
yes.
And then you say that I am getting a first available ticket only after 10 days, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Similarly, on the port also, you want to ship something to USA, but port says our cargoes, the first available cargo is after 10 days only. So you cannot ship your product before 10 days. So that is port congestion.
Okay, so then this will be, they have the waiting list system or something?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please, next question, please. Siddharth, open your mic. Okay, Siddharth, if you are not opening the mic, no problem. I'll read your question. But meanwhile, anybody want to ask the question, please raise your hand so that we can prioritize that. Sir, I have a question. What happens when company experiences a sudden surge in demand for a specific product, exceeding current inventory and production capacity? How do we handle this situation? The blunt reply on this question is that if you are not foreseeing the situation, you will not able to meet the demand. Point number one. So you will keep producing what you are producing and market will starve for that. It is a straight and simple response to that. Okay, there is no doubt about it. But then the question comes in picture. Did you exercise any time? Did you simulated this kind of situation any time that suppose demand increases 2 times suddenly? How will you able to meet that? So did you kept your suppliers, raw material suppliers in this parity? Do you have production capacity that much? So all these things need to be planned in advance, and we must be ready for this kind of situations to grow and to meet the customer demand. Otherwise, you will be supplying less product to the market. Matter is very straight and very simple. Okay, guys, I prefer to hear the voices, please. Okay, I think I need to take my Speak Dear Speak session now. So, okay, Noor has a question that Freviani, okay, we'll take your question. Just let me close this. Sir, how does supply chain management help in real estate development in your point of view? I want to hear from you because I'm not from the real estate business. But real estate business is very critical and which is highly driven by the demand and supply graph. Nothing more than that. Remember this point. The persons to buy a house, okay, is a need base. That is first thing. But at the same time, in addition to need base, if the inventory is more in the market, the inventory will idle for years together. The real estate price will not increase. So that will discourage the buyers who even want to buy the second property. So it's the biggest thing in the real estate is demand and supply imbalance, and you must study the demand and supply imbalance with the help of supply chain. But still there is a big issue in that so far. So yeah, that is what my response to you is there. No, yes, Freviani, please go ahead.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for today's lecture. I have a question. Quick question. I need to summarize these 3 of supply chains: linear, and then circular supply chain, and then agile. Could you please
did you attended the first session? Did you attend?
From 3 of them, I have started the class. I have attended, but I just need to summarize as this 3 of supply chain.
Fine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agile supply chain will talk separately. That is not. That is something different we want to talk. But linear supply chain and circular supply chain is very simple. In linear supply chain, we do not encourage, or linear supply chain do not support the concept of recycle, reuse, refurbishment. That means what you produce, it goes in the hands of customer, and customer after its usage just throw away, which goes to garbage, which goes for landfill. That is a linear supply chain. But linear supply chain is slowly getting obsolete, because end product, which is the waste, is not creating any value. So from the green concept, 5R concept, circular supply chain tells that no, don't do anything for the landfill. Take the last product once the customer is happy, okay, now I have used it, I don't need it anymore. Take from the customer, give him something extra what he wants to take. Take iPhone 15 from him and give him iPhone 16 with and some extra money. Take some extra money from him and use this iPhone 15 for refurbishment or recycling, or sell it as a refurbished unit. That is circular supply chain. So we are trying to avoid the wastage on the earth in the form of landfill. That is circular supply chain. And third supply chain is agile supply chain. Agile supply chain is an add-on variety in the circular supply chain or any kind of supply chain in the world. But it says be flexible, okay, be flexible, be adaptive, be customer centric, okay. Don't be in the rigid format. I gave the example of train. The train bogies are connected with each other with a flexible connection, so they don't hit each other even when the engine is putting a brake. So agile supply chain gives a flexibility to meet the demand forecast, raw material shortage, surplus manufacturing products. So it gives a cushion for the between each and everybody in the linkage, so that they can deal with the they can deal with the fluctuations, and they are more accommodative. So there is no rigidity and there is no rejection. I told you like this, you're not given me, so I don't take from you. No, that approach doesn't work in agile. There is a flexibility to accommodate the things. It's a collaborative approach, customer centric approach. So that is agile one. I hope I have clarified, summarized you very quickly. And